surrender, no trigger, fingers go, living the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, you're making me strong, you're making me stand. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raising up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm, who can stop me tonight?
Slam Pigs Cruise Control live, baby, live. Episode 9 coming right back at you right here on the Big TMD. It is quite a week for this show. Before we get into any of that, hot off the heels of the debut of Future, a wrestling podcast, my man, Mr. 205 Live Cruise Control himself, Logan Myers. What's going on, buddy? How was your week? Welcome back and congrats once again on episode 1 of Future Wrestling Podcast.
Episode 9 and Logan's here, and you can't just, you got to take the focus off me tonight because we have, I would say, Travis, one of the best hosts coming onto the board, and it's good to have the first lady of Slam Pigs as a host, Travis.
Making her way down the aisle, official announcement right here, the brand new third. It is the 3-man woman band, whatever you want to call it. The new co-host of Slam Pigs Cruise Control, Miss March. Kristen, what's going on? Thank you so much for agreeing to come on, being a part of the show, but how was your week? Welcome back. You both joined us for the post-show for Great Balls. What's going on?
Well, thank you for having me, first and foremost. Week has not been too bad, a little bit eventful. Really, my life is really boring other than wrestling, work, school. That's really about it.
Well, I do know that you are, for anyone that's never heard you on any of the shows, since this is your official gig now, I know you're a diehard wrestling fan. You actually go to a lot of NXT house shows and stuff in TNA, and you just went to another show with Raven there. I mean, what is the house show experience like at NXT? Because I've always wondered. I've never been to any NXT shows. I know Logan hasn't. How's the energy?
The energy is absolutely, dare I say it, phenomenal. Let me stop. But no, going to a live NXT event, be it, ones that are being taped or even, throughout the state of Florida. I mean, obviously NXT travels, but a lot of the house shows are done in Florida in, various counties and cities. But I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. Like, anyone who gets a chance, if you Jesus fucking Christ. As you guys will be well aware,
Logan makes me nervous
I have a
too,
mouth on me. But NXT events live, if you ever get the opportunity to go to one, highly, highly recommend it. It is a great fucking time. I always leave there without a voice, so good times to be had all around.
Right on. Tremendous. And someday I'm going to get to one. But real quick, before we get down to anything, welcome once again. Logan, where can everyone check you out on Twitter?
They can check me out on Twitter at LoganMyers144.
Right on. And you have a show now, you might want to plug. I'm just saying.
Well, I can't just, you said Twitter, so I answered that question, Travis.
Feel free to be the sloppiest whore you can be as far as promotional stuff on the show, Logan. You've earned your stripes by far. Hit him with it.
Okay. Now you can definitely check out Future, a wrestling podcast with me and Maniac Matt on YouTube. Just search Future Wrestling Podcast. We had our first episode last week and soon to record the second.
And real quick, Miss First Lady Slam Pigs, Kristen, where can everyone check you out on Twitter? All that good shit.
Anybody who'd like to stalk me, follow me. Excuse me, let me not say stalk. That's a very strong term. I've already had that situation once. Anyways, if you would like to follow me on Twitter at MissMarch89, Instagram also at Miss March. That would be 1989. Somebody took my name. Fuck you, whoever you are. I've got Snapchat, which is not really eventful right now, but usually is fun when it is Lady with 2 Y's, Luck with 2 K's, 89. And hopefully, once I get everything situated, we'll hopefully have my own channel. Not to take away from anybody else, but
Oh, not at all.
of course, I'll
Sorry.
always be a
Come on.
part of Slam Pigs. Always.
And yeah, follow me at the HibickyTMD on Twitter as always. And anyone that stops by the live chat tonight, guys, trying to man the chat. Thank you guys for stopping by. But first, Logan, let's take a little trip. Brand new segment, your little Frankenstein creation, your own cruise control. Week 2 of this. And I gave you probably one of my go-to matches from childhood, legit, not even just cruiserweight matches. The match I gave you this week, seriously, one of my all-time favorite matches. I can literally pinpoint it out in my head like I'm watching Flair and Steamboat kind of thing. You know what I mean? But what did we give each other this week on cruising down memory lane?
Well, Travis gave me Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis 1996 Bash to the Beach. And let me first off say this right now.
Not too
Bash
that.
at the beach.
Let's take a little bash to the beach. Doesn't work. You gotta have it at. But yeah, good.
Yeah, my bad.
Good.
No. I love the beginning of the match. I love that they didn't have to utilize the high flying maneuvers in this match. The whole entire match. Towards the beginning, it was all submissions. It was just, so you saw great submission wrestling, and that's what I also enjoy about the cruiserweight division. Is it's not all about the high flying maneuvers. It's about being able to do submissions, break out of them fast, and reversals and stuff. And I enjoyed this match. It was definitely better than the one I picked.
I like the match you gave me. 2 cents on the match I gave you. Yes, like I said, it was the first time. Like, we had gotten Malenko and Mysterio at Great American Bash 96, like a month before that, but to this level of high flying, you never saw that on television unless it was like Juice and Liger in WCW a couple years before. And even then, Liger wasn't doing the things these two guys were doing. Psychosis and Mysterio, man, everyone knows they came up together. They both started when they were like fucking what, guys? Like 13 or 14? Like, insane in Mexico how young they start you. But yeah, I cannot recommend a cruiserweight match enough. In my top 3, it's legit in my top 3. My favorite spot of the match is when Ray does a little corkscrew tope or whatever to the outside, misses and bangs his knee on the guardrail. Could have led to those knee surgeries. I'm just saying. Kristen, have you ever seen this match before?
The Rey Mysterio and Psychosis?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, you definitely got to check it out. It's worth it. The match you gave me was
Definitely.
Dean Malenko, speak of the devil again, and Rey Mysterio. Feel like he's going to pop up on these a lot. He was Mr. Cruiserweight, let's be real. At Halloween Havoc 96, not as good as the match they had at Great American Bash that year by far, in my opinion, Logan, but good match. Competitive. I always love it when a guy like Dean Malenko, it complements a high-flying style beautifully when done right, and it was always done right when these two locked up. Great match, and I'm glad you picked it. It's been a while since I've seen it, and this is maybe the only Halloween Havoc that I think that Mysterio appeared at where he didn't like put on a weird costume. Because remember we talked about the all purple costume I think a year later against Eddie Guerrero, and yeah, but good match, Logan.
Yeah, like the match that you picked. It was basically two masters of lucha libre clashing one on one on Bash at the Beach 1996, and like I said, it was a competitive match, and I like how Psychosis controlled most of the match, and then Rey Mysterio just like out of nowhere got the victory off that Hurricanrana off the top turnbuckle.
The top rope splash mountain, which was also the first time we ever saw. Which guys is the top rope Razor's Edge, by the way, or whatever. But next week, Kristen is gonna be participating in this. I got a match for both of you. I don't know if you want to go first, Logan, or Kristen. You can throw us a match too. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
All right, I'll figure something out. I don't know what, but I'll figure something out.
Logan, what do you got for me for cruising down memory lane next week?
I have Fall Brawl 1997. The WCW Cruiserweight Champion is on the line when Chris Jericho defends the gold against Eddie Guerrero.
Yep, very good match. I know that match very well. Yeah. I have ECW Deathmatch, Lucha Libre Deathmatch, Rey Mysterio Jr. and Psychosis once again. And I want you to contrast and compare next week. Which you preferred? Because both of these matches were great. And Kristen, since you're not the biggest WCW fan, I'm guessing, since we had a little combo about this off air.
It's not that I'm not the biggest WCW fan. It's just that I kind of caught the tail end, like late 90s. And I would have loved to have been able to see, obviously, from the beginning.
Did you like jump
But
in right at Jeff Jarrett's world title run and Vince Russo and David Arquette and that mess?
you talking about what the fuck was the name of the movie? Ready to Rumble?
Ready to Rumble when obviously they gave
I
Arquette
actually
the
did like
title and
that
everybody
movie.
was like,
Stop it. That is one of my guilty pleasures. You don't get to judge.
well, here's what I got for you. It's going to be from 2006. It's 2003. I'm sorry. From WrestleMania 19, Matt Hardy, Rey Mysterio, another Mysterio match. But this one is a different Mysterio. It opened the WrestleMania that year, besides the Sunday Night Heat match. But check that match out next week, Kristen, if you can. Not a big deal if you can.
I will check it out.
Very good. Have you brewed up a storm in your mind for Logan?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Anyway, Logan, I know this is a little bit older in the news, but we got to talk about it, especially on the theme of our show, obviously. Austin Aries, everyone knows now, asking for his release last Friday, if I'm correct. Everybody, everyone's siding with Austin Aries. Logan, I know you want to get your 2 cents in here first. I'm not saying I'm not siding with Austin Aries, but go ahead. What did you think of this whole ordeal? And I would say that you, of all people, think this is going to benefit Aries in the long run by far.
I actually have to get fired up on both sides of it. Let's just say it right now, Austin Aries definitely was misused, in my opinion, in some way. I think he shouldn't have been positioned in just the cruiserweight division. At the same time, come on now, you're getting a good pay in WWE, in my opinion, and you're still getting utilized on TV more than a lot of the guys in the locker room. And just because you're focused on the cruiserweight division and 205 Live and all that, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So him complaining, and I heard this also, that he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And that's not a good thing backstage. Hashtag Enzo Amore. But at the same time, you can't complain about why he had the opinions and why he wanted to leave and ask for his release. So my two cents is, you look at it both ways, and there's something you can complain about towards both.
You can see both sides, more or less, is what you're saying, and I totally agree. Yeah. Kristen, what do you think about this whole deal with Aries and him possibly going to ROH again? Hopefully not TNA.
God, let's hope it's not TNA. I'm going to start off by saying that. Fuck that owl. But I'm not Rebby, so I'm not going to get fined $5,000. Moving right along.
I don't know if you noticed about that owl real quick. It's literally like the Blue Blazers' old logo from his singlet.
I did notice that, actually.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one, but no. I do have to agree. It is kind of bullshit what happened. I mean, if he was rubbing people kind of the wrong way, then, I mean, maybe it was bound to happen down the road. But, I mean, at the same time, like, every single match that he was given was Neville. Like, for example, the one that sticks out the most to me was WrestleMania. He had the opportunity in his hand to take that title, and because he made Neville tap outside of the ring, and then, if memory serves me correctly, got hurt shortly thereafter, getting back into the ring. I mean, I feel they kind of used him as a joke. Like, he did have a lot of potential, in my opinion. Like you said, Ring of Honor and all that. He did great there. I mean, could be pay, could be he rubbed people the wrong way there too. Who knows? There's his, hers, and the truth to every story. But
yeah.
I just think it's kind of bullshit. I feel kind of like they jobbed him to Neville. Like, Neville's, by no means am I meaning any disrespect to Neville. He's an awesome competitor. He's great in the ring. But I feel that every time Aries came out, it's, oh, we're going to have him lose to Neville. Why not give him that opportunity to hold the belt. I mean, I do. Like he said, he felt, if I remember reading, I forget what website I read it on, but he said he felt very pigeonholed with just the cruiserweight and just 205 Live. Like, he made what, maybe one or two appearances on either Raw or SmackDown, and that was it. Then he was back on a 205. And I feel he could have been used a lot better. Hopefully, if he does go back to any company, honestly, I hope it would be Ring of Honor. But hopefully, I don't know. I guess I really wish him nothing but the best because I thought seeing him live, he was an awesome competitor. Like, he brought his A game in the ring. Injuries kind of plagued. I mean, that's with every wrestler. I mean, look at Corey Graves. Like, Corey Graves was up and coming, was fucking great. But concussion after concussion after concussion, he literally had to sit there and be like, is my health really worth it? Like, you know, was it CM Punk that got an infection and pretty much said that WWE didn't really like take it seriously, and that kind of led to part of him leaving? I mean, like, I
Shout
don't
out
think
to Megan in the chat,
WWE.
by the way. Just saw that. All
I
apologies,
don't know.
Megan.
I feel
Thank you
like
so much.
WWE doesn't use potential stars to their full advantage. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe that's just how I feel.
I think, and I agree for the most part. I see both sides of it. I see WWE side of it with, okay, they've stacked. Let's be honest, we say it all the time. They've stacked Raw. They've got a lot of talent on SmackDown. They have a hell of a lot of talent in NXT. Who knows what the future holds? We've yet to see Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. There's a lot of guys coming. I don't know. I think because of the unsuccessfulness of 205 Live and people just pretty much taking a pass, not even giving it a chance, they needed one of those indie darlings at the forefront. And I didn't think it was a bad thing that he kept putting over Neville because he didn't get squashed in any of those matches, guys. They were very competitive. They brought out the best in each other. Those were actually they never had a bad match in WWE, in my opinion. I've yet to see it. But
No,
obviously, he's worth more. But sometimes in life, and Aries has a reputation. I like Austin Aries, but in Ring of Honor and TNA, he's always one of these malcontents. A lot of people come out in interviews and said that about him. He's admitted that in interviews. It's one of those guys that, yes, that is a good trait to have as a professional wrestler. Always willing to stand up for yourself backstage. You always want better for yourself. But sometimes you do got to fall in line as an employee. Now, all we know from any of this, it's all alleged until he has come out and said a good bit. But as far as his attitude backstage, until I see shoots and stuff, we're going to leave that as alleged. Now, the other side of it, business-wise in Austin Aries, I think this was a totally irrationally dumb decision, Logan. And hear me out. Austin Aries is no spring chicken. You know what I'm saying? He's gotten nothing but plagued with injuries in his time in WWE alone, let alone his time in the Ring of Honor, TNA, all those promotions. Is it his age and all the shit he's gone through just in WWE coming off those injuries beneficial to his body to go to a New Japan, back to a Ring of Honor? Even the guys in TNA are doing a more high impact style than WWE. So any other promotion besides this isn't the best for his health. Money wise, maybe not TNA. But fuck yeah, because the Indies are going to pay a hell of a lot more for Austin Aries than a fucking NXT or 205 Live would. I see both sides. Hopefully I'd like to see him come back. I'd like to see Triple H reach out. I can totally see that happening. Del Rio came back for fuck's sake, so I mean, come on. But I don't know. I see both sides.
And Mario Ronaldo also returned. So
Right. That was more of a case with one employee as opposed to just frustrated the whole company. But do you think, like, guys, being a malcontent in every promotion you're in, is that a good reputation, or is that the kind of guy you want backstage? You want somebody with a backbone at the end of the day that's going to stand up because he cares about the product. Like, where do you draw the line?
there's definitely a line that you just it's like speaking about Enzo Amore thing, but I don't really want to get into that situation too.
Yeah.
But when you have kind of like a big mouth and like you just you're that type of person, it's just like it's bound for them to say something off and piss somebody off backstage. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but really, it's like.
We do need to address that more so in any other promotion, Logan. The guys in WWE walk on glass more than any other promotion, you would think. Those guys are scared as shit back there to piss people off. Kristen,
Yeah.
what do you think? Do you think it's good to have that kind of chip on your shoulder? Or do you think it's detrimental to your career in the long run, especially for a company like WWE?
Um, I mean, I kind of see it. I mean, I think it's a good thing. Like, obviously, you want to stand up for yourself because, like you said, he cares about the product. You can tell. But at the same time, like, we'll use the real world. I use that term very loosely, but we'll use the real world, for example. You can stand up at your job or whatever the case may be, but you don't want to ruffle the wrong feathers, so to
I
speak.
literally thought you were talking about the old show, The Real World, for a second. Sorry, I zoned out.
No, not that real
And I was
world.
intrigued to
It's
see how you're
different.
going to make the correlation, but it's all good. Continue.
But no, like, I mean, going to your normal 9 to 5. Obviously, you want to stand up for yourself. Like, if you feel you're being treated unfairly, or you feel that you could be better utilized, of course, fucking stick up for yourself. But don't ruffle the wrong feathers. You do that, it could cost you. Like, maybe he ruffled the wrong feathers. Although apparently I've missed something with Enzo, which apparently I'll have to just find that out later. But I mean, yes, obviously you need to defend yourself. Like, if you feel you're being treated like shit, say something. But like you said, I have noticed with, versus other companies like New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, whatever the fuck they want to go by nowadays, WWE is definitely the one that, like you said, employees are definitely, out of all promotions going on, definitely have to walk on eggshells. You don't want to piss off the wrong people because it could cost you your job and your livelihood. And end of the day, you don't want that to happen. So
Yeah. We will
no, I
see.
mean I commend him for standing up for himself by all means.
I'd like to
In
see him
such a
over in, you know what I would love to see is something mix it up. Go to Progress. Like that would get his name to stand out. Do something like that. Don't just like go back
that'd
to
be pretty
TNA.
cool. I'd watch that.
Exactly. It would be intriguing to see Austin Aries in like a UK promotion or something. But we'll see what turns out for him, Logan, in the long run, guys. I know one more thing before we get to the actual 205 live show this week. You put another little poll up on Twitter, Logan, this week.
And yes, I did. And it was, who would you prefer? Would it be Mustafa Ali or Rich Swan? And
As
who?
cruiserweight champion.
First of all, not as cruiserweight champion, just who would you prefer?
Oh,
Like who? I mean, it could be cruiserweight champion. It could be just anything.
yeah.
Like who would you
Who you
prefer
like
as
better?
a?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a very close poll. After 21 votes, Mustafa Ali won with 57%, and Rich Swan with 43%. Going on here, Ben's Cast TV on Twitter said Mustafa Ali. He is much more capable than what he shows on 205 Live. He and Kenny Omega had a 5-star match this past
Oh,
March.
Kenny Omega. Yeah. Sorry.
Um,
Go on.
Before I give my 2 cents, I'm going to hand it off to Kristen.
Wait, what about a handoff? Never mind.
I
Settle
want
down.
I'm behaving
I know.
somewhat, but um, I'm sorry, I completely missed the question. I
No, are
zoned
you
out.
more of a are you more of a Mustafa Ali fan or a Rich Swan fan at the end of the day? Like if you had to choose,
Prince Ali.
Ali
I am
Ababa.
definitely Ali Ababa, exactly. I definitely like. Don't get me wrong. Rich Swan is very good. Like I don't doubt his in ring abilities. I've seen them. They're fucking great. I don't know if it's the whole storyline that doesn't appeal to me with him, but Mustafa Ali, when they done like his backstories, it kind of like tugs at the heartstrings. You're like, oh, Mustafa, especially like for the girls. They're like, oh, poor Mustafa. And obviously, I've always been more of an underdog. Like, not that Rich Swan isn't an underdog, so to speak, but I would definitely, if I had to pick one or the other, would definitely go Ali.
Even though Rich Swan is a local boy, so to speak, for me and Logan, Baltimore represent. This was a lot closer for me than I thought it was going to be, especially Logan. We've been getting more serious Rich Swann in ring. It was really hard, and it came down to I voted Ali because it's easier for me to see a title on Ali than Rich Swann because I don't think that cruiserweight title at the end of the day looked well on him. Like I just don't think he needs a title to get over. He's one of those guys. Like maybe a mid card title, but as you know what I'm saying. Like that's what it came. I can much easier see Ali in the future if pushed well, like you said with the vignettes, Kristen, to have that strap. And I think it'll look good on the kid. You know what I mean? Speaking of Ali, though, and Pogan, wow. Holy shit.
Logie Pierogi.
Oh, God, you did it in like a Brooklyn accent, too. Oh, that was the best part.
You ready?
Do you have another poll up your sleeve for this week we should look out for?
Well, before I say the next poll, I will say that I actually would love to pick both guys. But I actually picked Rich Swann in this poll. I'm a huge fan of Mustafa Ali. Don't get me wrong, no doubt about it. He is one of the most underrated talents and has a bright future ahead of him. But the performance of Rich Swann as of late in recent weeks just made me had to go with him for now. Storyline wise, I do want to see Mustafa Ali win the cruiserweight title. I think it would benefit him very well. I think he would actually look really good with the belt as well. So,
Damn right. Sorry.
For different reasons than Kristen, apparently.
Don't judge.
You know, real quick before we get if you got another poll coming or whatever. I told you guys off air this news I saw on Twitter of Mustafa Ali putting his name in the hat for the live action movie of Aladdin. Like he wants to be Aladdin because like he put a tweet out saying that he compares his marriage to the story of Aladdin and it means a lot to him. I was like, wow, that's awesome. So just my 2 cents on that. Just want to throw that in there before you finish there, Logies, pierogies.
I thought you wasn't going to do that.
I got one.
Yeah.
I got one. You can still bury me. You can get your shovel.
Yes, I will poll up tonight. Actually, I will start the poll. Or tomorrow morning, I will start the poll, and everybody can vote for the next question that I have. I will be putting it up tomorrow. So everybody, check out that, and I'll be tagging a lot of people.
Ooh, Logan's starting the poll. Sorry.
Very nice. And go ahead. I heard poll and inappropriately used, I think. I don't know. I might have glossed over that.
I'm no lady. The fuck out of here.
All right. I guess without further ado, it takes us to this week's episode of 205 Live, guys. Right here on episode 9, Cruise Control. I can't believe, by the way, real quick, we've been doing this for like over 2 months now already, Logan. I feel like 2 weeks ago we just started the show. It's flying by, just like the actual cruiserweight. See what I did there? See what I did?
Before we do 205 Live, did you want to comment on Neville actually taking a pinfall on Monday Night Raw?
In the tag match?
Yes.
Yeah, good, because it does translate to this week's episode. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, Neville actually took a pinfall in a shocking win, which shocked the hell out of me when Akira Tozawa kind of got a little bit revenge on Neville for what happened at the pay-per-view. And I don't know, the last 2 weeks ever since Tozawa lost at the pay-per-view or whatever has shown a little bit more aggressive side, and it's been less of the chant and more of the serious side. So I'm really anxious to see where this goes.
Yeah, I don't think I was as surprised because it was a tag match. I kind of saw it coming where like somebody was going to pin Neville and then like he could use that in heel promos, be like, "You only beat me in a tag match" or something, which he did. But yeah, it's good to see.
I actually thought it was going to be Cedric Alexander.
Yep, me too. Look at that, thinking like Kristen. Did you catch this tag match on Raw before we get to this week's 205 Live?
I did. You're talking about the Akira Tozawa and Cedric versus Noam Dar and Neville?
Yep.
I did. Like you said, I kind of was expecting Cedric to pick up that win. I mean, I know they're like you said, they are probably going to take that twisted. Oh, you only beat me in a tag match. Like, he's going to find a way to twist it. I mean, he's good for it. I'm okay with that. But I definitely, I don't know, maybe I kind of wanted to see the the win go to Cedric in this case. I mean, I know Akira's pissed off, like you said, ever since Great Balls of Fire, which WWE, please do not ever name your fucking pay-per-views after a fucking song that was probably like Vince McMahon's favorite song back whenever the fuck it came out.
They probably bought the rights to it.
WWE
Vince loved it so much. That's why they used it.
Probably. No, overall, that was a good match. Like you said, I kind of expected Akira to kind of get the payback, so to speak, due to losing at Great Balls of Fire. But overall, I thought it was a good match, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Kristen, do you guys think it benefited more of Cedric winning the pinfall more in this match than Akira Tozawa? I mean, if they're really going to push this Cedric versus Neville at SummerSlam, don't you think that would have been the perfect spot?
No, that would have.
Good.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say no because I mean, Tozawa's had one match he lost kind of like in a dumb way, which is like a little kick. He's got to get his heat back in a way. I would think in a rematch at least. If he loses, he loses, but they have to at least have a rematch to say the feud's finished because it's always going to seem like a feud that never got a payoff, and people will fucking complain, and I'll probably complain about that because I don't like that when that happens. But I would do Tozawa at SummerSlam, and we'll see. I don't know if I still want to put the belt. Would you, if it was Tozawa, would you guys put it on him at SummerSlam?
I'm going to sound like such a dickhead for saying this, but I would say yes. But I'd want him to lose it to Cedric so bad.
That's exactly what I would do too. I would have Tozawa
I don't
win.
know why. Like, probably, like, of course, like, you know, Neville is a great competitor. Like, I'm not going to knock him. I'm not going to say, you know, he's
unbelievable
not
fucking.
he's not going to
just
fucking
firing on all
dodge moves
cylinders.
like fucking Cameron, who fucking almost killed somebody when she went to go do a move in the ring.
Oh,
but
please
tell me y'all remember that.
Sentence.
But no, like Neville is a great competitor. Would I like to see Akira? Like you said, I want to see Akira get that payoff. Like you said, I don't want to see a storyline just kind of go, oh well, fine, we're gonna do it to Cedric, and it's like, what the fuck? What about Akira and fucking Neville? Like it's gonna leave you on that kind of like when a series gets canceled, but with no ending to it, like no kind of closure kind of thing. I want that with Akira and Neville, but I want sometime down the road. Obviously, it doesn't have to be right away, but I want Cedric to get that heat, and I want that gold around his waist. I do.
Yeah, I think you know what I noticed. We'll talk about the I Quit match later. I don't think anyone sells better in WWE right now than Cedric Alexander. Like Jesus Christ. Like anyway, I guess that kicks off this week's special episode. Logan, what did the show kick off with this week?
It actually kicked off this week's show of 205 Live with Akira Tozawa and Aria Davari in a backstage segment, which again showcased Tozawa's aggressive, more angry side.
Yeah.
More serious. But then they had a match, which this match never got finished. Travis, do you want me to go and say what happened?
Sure. That's what you're gonna do anyway. So.
This match never got finished because Neville interfered and showed his aggression and destruction after being pissed off from losing the night before in the tag team match. And Neville is just looking more vicious and more destructive as a cruiserweight champion. He's just on a level that nobody could see coming.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was.
Didn't see it coming, huh?
Yeah, I would say a year ago. We say it all the time. Who would have thought a year ago when Neville was wearing like purple capes and shit that we would see this side? Like I didn't know he like I would watch his shit in Japan when he was like Pac and stuff, but he was never really this volume turned up over there. Logan, I would say.
Yep, exactly.
But I don't know. I would love like years from now when the shoots come out or whatever. I would love to know who was the one initially to pull Neville aside. Like, look, brother, you got to turn up the heel heat. You got to be a fucking heel. It's probably Michael Hayes or fucking Road Dogg or one of these guys. Yeah, what did you think? Did you think this made Neville look like a badass Kristen as a heel, or you thought this was like a cheap schmoz finish? Which way were you on the fence with it? Because I liked it. I thought it was a really good way
I
for
was
him to
gonna say
book
I
vicious.
did like it. I mean, obviously, I would have liked to have seen some kind of closure to that, just at least to see either Akira. I mean, I would have wanted to see Akira win, obviously, because I'm not a big fan of what's his nuts. I don't even care for him.
Arya
Like I
Davari.
don't even remember his name exactly.
Easy,
Him,
Logan.
fucking
Easy, Logan. Do I have to? He's a big Arya
Logan.
Davari
Don't
fan.
rip my head off. You love me, but I am definitely. I would definitely have liked to have seen Akira Tozawa win. Neville coming out. I mean, I like the fact it does kind of turn up that, like you said, that heel heat on him, which obviously is going to bring more attention to that title, which is kind of what they need right now. Like Neville, going on Raw or SmackDown or whatever show they decide to put him on for the week is great. And I like Neville. He does the heel role very well. But if they had to end the match, Neville kind of coming out and getting all pissed off wasn't the way I would have booked it. I don't know. I'm kind of on
Logan,
the fence about that.
Logan, what you got?
Well, I think the Neville coming out and doing what he did. I don't know. It did look really great. I love when he just shows his aggression and shows his destructive side of himself. And I think, come on now, Tozawa just he took that. He sold every move that Neville did to him perfectly.
Yeah, I'd have to
And I
agree.
don't know how the hell he kept in that mouthpiece the whole entire freaking time.
Yeah, that was kind of impressive. Not
His
gonna lie.
mouthpieces are tremendous. They're very vibrant and neon, and I like them. Yeah, we'll see if where it goes next week. If Tozawa gets his revenge or what's going to go. I think it is going to be those two at SummerSlam at the end of the day. I think that's where they're going with it. But if anything, it's nice to see. And we'll talk about it later. Cedric Alexander break off from the No Amdar storyline. Looks like it's done, but we'll get to that. Did this take us to this fucking Brian Kendrick bullshit, Logan, or is that a segment after this?
It is actually the segment after this. The next thing that we had was Rich Swan versus
Oh yeah.
and the Kristen the Jobber Mario Connors.
What? Mario Connors getting his due against
Mario.
It was Rich Swann at first. Rich Swann gets the win here. My God, fucking T.J. Perkins. After this, Rich Swann, by the way, wins in 3 minutes 47 seconds. Somebody thinks it's okay to still hand Perkins a fucking mic for more than 30 seconds, and he did, and he got on the mic and cut a terrible "I am a cocky heel" promo. He's shit at these. I don't know who thinks this is a good idea. Obviously, I don't like it. He went in the ring and posted that he can beat this guy in less time, and of course, he did in like 20 seconds. At least they did told the story well. They made sure that Corey Graves kept saying, the Jobbers already had a match. It's kind of not fair. So it did make him look like a cheap heel. They kept, you know what I mean. They kept exclamating that point. So that was good, but just too much Perkins mic time for me. Kristen, we'll go to you first this time on the segment. I don't know, man. It's just stop giving this dude a mic for me. You think totally different.
And see, I kind of like TJ Perkins, or as he refers to himself, not TJP.
Yeah.
But, like you said, I mean, Rich Swann picking up the win over Mario Connors, or as I was referring to him so lovingly, the Jobber, because I didn't know what the fuck his name was at first. Like you said, I like the fact that Corey actually played up when TJP came out. Oh, he's already had a match, and that's not fair. And I mean, I like you said, I like the fact that they actually played it up versus, oh, well, TJP, like you said, I don't know if I like his mic skills yet. I do definitely think he needs to work on that as much as I am a TJP fan. But, I mean, overall, obviously, if I had. No, go ahead.
Nope, by all means, please.
No, go
You gave
ahead.
me the last time. This time I got to give you this time. Finish, please.
Touche. The Rich Swann and Mario Connors match actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be at first. Like, because I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Thought it was one
And
of
then
the
I had to like
volleyball boys at
rewind it a little
first.
bit, and I'm like, oh,
Tassels.
Mario Connors. Oh, okay. Still don't remember his name. As you guys said, I was referring to him as a jobber up until right before the show started. Um, but like you said, TJP's mic skills are less than desirable. Get him worked on those mic skills. And I don't know, maybe you might actually like him, Travis. Probably not. But
I
yeah, the
like
mic
him. I
skills,
like when the man wrestles. It's just for a
you
guy
just don't like
that
when he's got a mic in his
okay,
hand.
for a guy whose promos, 90% of them, he always fits in how he's been in that business for 18 fucking years or whatever. You'd think he'd have picked up a goddamn microphone and practiced in 18 years, is all I'm saying. Tremendous in ring talent. But, you know, not
He's what,
everybody is a
30,
rock or
32 now?
something like that.
He's
Logan,
in his 30s, but like you said, he could have at very least picked up a
did this
mic. But
tickle your
that's
pickle or did you take a piss on TJP this week?
Well, I want to say the Rich Spawn versus Mario Connors actually like Kristen said, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I actually put it down on my notes here that Mario Connors actually showcased some skills, and why not sign him to 205 Live? For TJP on the mic, I'd rather watch him come out and do 15 dabs or actually listen to No Am Dark promo.
Ooh.
ooh,
Alicia
that's mean.
Fox. Sorry. That's borderline,
What?
man. God, making me choose who's worse, Noam Dar on the mic or TJP. That's like,
No MDR. Jesus H fuck.
you just don't like Scottish people. That's
No
all it is.
accent.
I have no problem with Scottish people, but it's a little too fucking close for a fucking British accent. No offense to anyone who's British, only to one certain person. But
Oh god.
Oh,
I can
Mug
name
blood.
names. I'm not going to be
Anyway,
that much of a prick tonight. Jeez.
Logan, did you besides the TJP on the mic, do you like where they're going with? I thought they turned TJP babyface, and it's like he's back to a heel already. So I don't know where they're going. Do they know where they're? It just comes out like they don't know what the fuck to do with these guys, and this is what we get when they don't.
I'm gonna keep saying it every week until they fucking do this. TJP as a fucking heel with that fucking theme song is not gonna fucking work.
A fucking man. That's a lot of fucks. That's the
I
most
like
I've
his
ever heard you
theme
cuss.
song.
WWE, you're slipping. You're making Logan vulgar. I'm not used to it. Keep it up, actually. Anyway,
Fuck!
speaking of bad, the Brian Kendrick again. Logan, take it. Ugh, I'm just so sick to my stomach thinking about another week of him with an umbrella.
Uh, well, Brian Kendrick came out doing his little cutting a promo, dressed up as Jack Gallagher and cutting his little promo. Let me say this once. I'd rather listen to Brian Kendrick on the microphone than TJP.
Agreed.
Okay.
I will
They see
contest that. Yes, I will
promo.
not contest that.
But the whole making fun of Jack Gallagher, eh, at first when I saw this a couple weeks ago, I was just like, ew. This is just the stupidest thing.
Did you literally go ill?
Going to the point. Ew. Oh my god, ew.
Oh my god! Please do that every week. You got to see now. It's your new gimmick. I don't know if you want that to be your
See, I gotta act like Little Bear. I got your toothpaste.
gimmick.
It's anal bleach toothpaste.
Did you
Ugh.
say anal bleach toothpaste?
Anal bleed
I
toothpaste.
heard anal
Ugh.
bleach.
Both things are just
God.
horrible. God, does it matter which is worse at that point? What fucking
Sorry.
podcast did this turn into? That's what I want to know right now. That's how bad this segment was, I guess.
No, Jack Gallagher came out, cut his own promo, which let me say this right now. I actually enjoyed this promo by Jack.
Yep, me too. That was a
It
good part
showed a
about this
whole
whole thing.
different side. It showed a whole different side for one. Two, it just made him 10 times better than anything that we've seen from him in weeks. So and then when they went and brawled and then Jack got hit by Brian by the umbrella, which don't get me wrong, I actually like when Brian Kendrick does it because it's vicious shots. I mean, he's breaking the umbrellas in half.
Yeah. I mean, unless they're gimmicked. You know what I mean? They might be gimmicked. Who knows? They might be set
I
up
don't
to
know.
break. But it looks legit. I mean, I wouldn't want to take it. And those are big ass umbrellas. Man, this whole because I don't think I've ever asked you this on any show, even off air, Kristen. What do you thought about this whole the Brian Kendrick is like this new Damien Sandow light impersonator?
I may be the only one that actually kind of likes it, believe it or not. I like Brian Kendrick, the first go around that he had in WWE. Memorable, and I use that term loosely at best. Like if you blink, you miss it, kind of memorable.
I actually liked his first run way better than this run, by far.
Really?
Even with Ezekiel Jackson, I would prefer that Brian Kendrick any day.
Okay, fair enough.
Teach their own.
Right. I mean, well, maybe because I did miss out on a little bit of wrestling, so I kind of caught maybe the ending of him in WWE on his first run.
Honestly, I think in like 08, they shoved him in like a scramble match for the SmackDown World Title on one pay-per-view. I vividly remember him being in a title match on a pay-per-view, which is weird.
Now that you say that, oh god, like I said, memorable.
How far we've fallen, Mr. Kendrick.
Well, I mean, he's older now. He's what?
He's seasoned.
Like 38?
He should. I don't know. Continue.
I know he's in his 30s. I don't know how old, but
I'd say like 37-ish, maybe.
I don't know. He's like 37 or 38. The only reason I remember him was from fucking, and I'm so embarrassed to admit this, was fucking Total Divas when he was training Eva Marie.
I hope they paid him well for that. I hope they gave him $1 million for that, Logan.
God, I hope so too. But as far as that goes, I actually kind of like. They say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Obviously, it's meant to get him that heel heat. I kind of like the whole Brian Kendrick mimicking. I do have to laugh, though, because sitting there and listening to Jack Gallagher and him go back and forth before, obviously, Brian fucking unleashed those fucking umbrellas on his back, which, holy fuck, that had to have hurt. But when Jack Gallagher said, I can back it up, because of how thick his accent is, I swear to God, I thought he said fuck it up. And I swear to God, other people who I've asked about this same segment said that he said fuck it up. So I really think nobody caught that. I really did.
I did. I sure did.
Okay, well, you guys did.
I'm just gonna fuck it up. Can you imagine if Vince was
fuck it up?
Can you imagine if Vince is in control of 205 Live and he's back there listening, and he said, "Did he say fuck it up?"
Yeah, apparently, like he congratulated LeVar Ball backstage. Vince did. He's like, "Oh, you did a great job, pal." But Jack Gallagher in Vince's eyes is no LeVar Ball. You know what I mean? That's a hell of a job in Vince's eyes. He probably would get read.
Well, he's supposed to be a gentleman.
What in the hell was that? Something. It wouldn't be pretty. I don't know.
He fucked it up again.
But I totally fucking agree with you, Logan. I think it was so refreshing to see Jack Gallagher show that side. And they're doing this. We say this every week with a new guy. They're letting these guys be more serious. Does this come off? We never talked about this. Springboard off of this Jack Gallagher segment, because I'd love to get off of it, honestly. Are they tightening the screws a little bit because they know how low the ratings are dropping? Or is it more of a case like, well, no one's watching it, fuck it, throw whatever out there? Do they just not care because it's on the network anyway? It's not like they have to answer to a other network for their ratings.
I think it's just them giving them the options and the opportunities to go out there and do what they want to do, and I think that's what they need to do more often, and that might help a lot of them in the division or even on Raw or SmackDown. Just let them go out there and do themselves. Stop giving them promos to read. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Because sometimes when you just give them the opportunities to go out there and showcase their own abilities and their own promos, sometimes it just comes off way better than what you expect.
I say beautiful things can happen if you let them have creative reign, so to speak. I mean, obviously, WWE creative isn't going to give them full control, but when they do kind of let back the reins a little bit, no Roman Reigns, pun intended, but when they loosen the reins, so to speak, it can be a very beautiful thing.
The three biggest...
I wonder who writes promos.
Who's writing these promos backstage? That's a good question. I would like to think that Triple H has his hands all over this product more than people, but I don't think he does. I don't think does he have time to control NXT, or are they just handing it off to like the road dogs at SmackDown backstage and stuff? You know what I mean? Like shit rolls downhill type of thing.
Who knows? Maybe it's Brian Kendrick who's writing this stuff. I don't know.
That you know what? You laugh. That wouldn't surprise me if he was part of the process because he is. He's a very intelligent guy. He's got a great mind for the business. Obviously, he trains people. You would have to. You know what I mean? But
And isn't Dean Malenko still involved? Maybe he's in the cruiserweight division.
Norman Smiley's back there somewhere. He's always popping his face up. Anyway,
I'll say this right now: Rey Mysterio needs to come as an agent. I think that would be great for 205 Live and the cruiserweight division. Maybe he could help out some of the guys in getting over and stuff.
With a sporadic like part-timer role to put these guys over on top of it, like not a full-time schedule, because obviously his knees and shit at this stage of the game, there's no way Ray could go full-time anymore, ever. Like he just couldn't. His body would give out completely. But to say what you said, Logan, and actually Kristen about the organic thing, the three most over things in the last, I don't know, since Hulkamania for that company have all been organic. Austin was organic, The Rock was organic, and Daniel Bryan was completely organic. I can't think of anything besides Hulkamania that ever elicited bigger reactions. I'm not talking about like DX, John Cena. Those were all like, they were made by WWE. They were meant to happen. You know what I'm saying? But I would say those three things. And yes, the most beautiful things in wrestling are always organic. I completely agree. And as much, Logan, as you know, I've been coming all over these Drew Gulak segments over the weeks and loving them. This was the worst one I've seen this week. This one sucked. This did not do it for me this week. We can just go to that segment next if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah, something was off. Something was missing. I liked the attempt that they put into like the podium and the vote for me shit. It just seemed, and I'll even say it as much a fan I am of the guy. I think it was more Drew Gulak this week. I think he was just lackluster promo wise. Hopefully it's better next week and they do something more. I will say though, one of the best things, and of course they didn't even put it on the goddamn show, was on the YouTube exclusive. You all saw in the skit, Drew Gulak had these vote for me pins and he was giving out to people and stuff. In the extra clip, he ran into Tony Nese, just happened to be doing like fucking CrossFit or something backstage with his shirt off, stops and said, "Yeah, I'll support you, but why don't you give me a button?" And then Drew Gulak said, "Because you have no shirt." And Tony Nese grabs an actual button. I'm sure it was gimmick. There was like tape on the back, but it was a button. And like just puts it on his bare man boob, and he just pierced it through his skin. It was hilarious. I don't know why that didn't make the cut. It maybe would have made the Gulak skit a win for me, because the Gulak skit didn't really have a payoff. It was just like there. I think that was the biggest problem with it. Logan, what did you think of Gulak this week? Goulash.
I actually like his little kind of like a president type promo that was on 205 Live. I didn't get to actually see the WWE.com exclusive between him and Tony Nese, but I will definitely have to go and check that out.
I got a giggle.
Drew Gulak, I'm going to say, we've been saying this for weeks now, that we're a big fan of him. He's really growing on us. And I like the fact that not all the cruiserweights have to have that same, high-flying, combat. It could be more of like a ground and pound like Drew Gulak. So that's what I like about Drew. I could actually see him winning the cruiserweight title one day, too.
I can, too. And I would totally do that. Kristen, did you catch this segment on 205 Live this week?
I did. Like you said, Drew Gulak does have some really good fucking promos. I was not a big fan of him at first. I will openly admit that. As these promos have gone on, I'm not going to commit to saying I'm a fan of Gulak yet. But his skits have been getting better as the weeks have gone on. This week, I don't know, I felt he kind of metaphorically hit a wall. Like, the promo could have been better, but I definitely, like you said, I loved with the whole Tony Nese pin skit. That was fucking great. Because, oh yeah, but why? Why won't you give me a button? Because you don't have a shirt on. And the way he sold it was just perfect.
I'm
But
surprised we've never seen that before, and it's always nice to see something they've never done for once instead of rehashing their same old tired comedy bullshit. So maybe that's why it stood out.
right. But no, this promo this week, eh. It just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that I was like, yo, Logan, Travis, you guys see this shit?
Right.
It didn't grab me.
It missed the mark. It sometimes that happens though. That's okay. That not every promo is going to be a winner. Even the best have had. Well, I don't think Dusty Rhodes or Ric Flair have ever done a bad promo, but I'm sure it happens to most guys. Did that take us to the main event this week?
Yes, it did.
Go ahead, Logan.
Well, in our main event, we had an I Quit match between Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. I'm going to throw it to Kristen on what she thought about this match and get her 2 cents.
I absolutely loved this match. I was kind of hoping that this would be the end of that whole fucking thing. Hopefully it is. I don't know. We'll see come the next couple weeks. But Cedric Alexander, hands down, put on a phenomenal fucking match. I mean, of course, I had a feeling it was coming, the whole Noam Dar, Cedric Alexander thing. It kind of was building up to it throughout the weeks. So when they announced the I Quit, I was like, oh, good, finally. Let's see how this is going to go. Spoiler alert, Cedric Alexander won. Am I the only one that was actually kind of thrilled about Noam Dar kind of turning heel on Alicia Fox, of all people? I can't stand the bitch. I really can't. You, as much money as you make, that weave just kills me. Like, Sasha's on TV, she looks good. She gets her hair fucking done immaculately. Why is Alicia Fox not going,
Isn't
who the fuck do
Sasha's
you get your
husband
hair
like a
done with?
hairstylist though, or like a makeup?
I think he's a hairstylist and a costume designer. I could be wrong though. I know at the
She
very least he
married
is
the one
costume designer.
straight costume and fucking. Anyway.
Yeah, but look at her fucking costumes. They're fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
But overall, great match. I thought, it did go back and forth quite a bit, so that definitely did kind of keep my attention. Because at first I'm like, oh, great, fucking Noam Dar. I can't stand them. And it's not because I have anything against Scottish people, Logan, because I know you're going to try and play that card. But it's
Because
just.
you're probably a big Drew McIntyre fan, like we all are. So it's not the Scottish stuff. Oh,
Drew
Jesus
McIntyre.
God.
Yes.
I didn't mean to make it all moist up in the show. I was just mentioning Drew.
But no, I would say out of all the matches, and I mean, that doesn't really seem much because, no offense, but it's 205. A lot of people don't watch it. I would probably have to say this was match of the night, hands down.
I agree. I agree with you guys. The match was tremendous. Like we said earlier, in my opinion, Cedric Alexander is the best seller right now in WWE. It's God. He's like, do you guys remember Iron Mike Sharp off the top of your head? I know it's a stretch. It's an oldie.
Yes.
Okay.
Vaguely.
So Logan knows who he is. Kristen, do you remember him?
Vaguely.
He was this job guy in WWE back in the 80s, and he had a big gauntlet on his just. Anyway, he's notorious for always just being loud in his matches. Like, he won't shut the fuck up. He's just muttering bull. He's like, it's bad. But, like, that's what this reminded me of, but, like, done right. So, I don't, like, comparing Iron Mike Sharp to Cedric Alexander. Only here, Logan, on Cruise Control, you get that kind of reference. I like the match. Good spots. Love the ending. I thought it was I actually really like the ending. That's exactly what logically you would do. Some guys put you through so much hell, you would give him one last little chance because, you wanted to make him look like a babyface at the end of the day still. So he gave him the option to quit now, whatever. And you felt sympathetic for Cedric throughout these angles and shit. So you didn't think he was a prick doing it. So they balanced that well. A lot of people upset they split up him and Alicia Fox. Here's a little fantasy booking I didn't tell you guys about that I had planned to talk about. Here's what I would do. You want to boost 205 Live. I think Noam Dar in the ring, because I've seen his stuff in ICW since I've discovered him, since the tournament and whatnot, obviously. I think he's tremendous. I think he's really good. I think he's one of the worst promos, though, on the other end. I would make him the first cruiserweight Paul Heyman guy. Bring Paul Heyman at 205 Live, boost your fucking ratings, get some eyes on your show. Paul Heyman's there anyway, probably, even though it's SmackDown, but you could work something out. I think it would work. It would work. The first cruiserweight Paul Heyman guy. Why not Noam Dar right now? I mean, you could say Neville, but Neville can fucking talk. That's the problem with putting him with Neville. Noam Dar needs a Paul Heyman. Imagine that. Because I know you guys probably don't hate Dar in ring, right? You probably agree he's pretty good.
No, he's pretty good in ring, actually.
Right.
That's what I would do, man.
Me too.
Maybe you guys could have someone else you'd rather put Paul Heyman with as the first cruiserweight, but I think that would just work. It would.
I think it would work too. I mean, just thinking about it, why not? I mean,
You have
I mean,
nothing to lose
it's
on this
not
show.
gonna hurt to try.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not gonna hurt to try. It will boost ratings. It will give somebody to watch. Just why not? I
You know what?
mean,
I'm such an idiot, guys. I said, well, he's on SmackDown. I don't know how they work because 205 Live. No, I forgot that the cruiserweight's on Raw every week. So there you go. Anyway, Kristen, what do you think of my little
205
fantasy
Live's
booking?
on Smack.
See, Kristen would
No.
put Paul Heyman with Arya Davari and call it a night, probably. I'm just kidding.
I might. Okay, don't give me any ideas. But I could actually, now that you say that, like actually sitting here kind of mulling it over, I could see Paul Heyman in Dar. I don't want to entertain it just yet, but definitely something that WWE Creative could definitely look into. I don't know why that's so entertaining to me now.
It doesn't hurt to try to boost ratings somehow, some way, and try to revive the division. In my opinion, this match to me was brutal, vicious. There was things that Cedric just put on a phenomenal match. And like you said, Travis, he's very good in the ring. He sells really well. Promo wise for Noam Dar, I'd rather watch anything Cat Ernest Miller than listen to him do a promo.
How dare you? You son of a bitch. You always do that to the beloved Ernest Miller. You sneak it in. Pierogies. Mr. Pierogies. You want some extra sauce? Anyway, coming out of 205 Live, that was it this week. What do you guys give an overall grade for this week's episode? We'll go with ladies first, since it's your first week with us. The first Lady Slam pick, Miss Kristen. What you got this week on 205?
I would say overall, I'd give it a B minus. It wasn't bad. I mean, there were some kind of moments that it was like, okay, who the fuck is this kind of thing, especially with the Rich Swann and Mario Connors, because like I said, I kept referring to him as the jobber. I had no idea who the fuck he was. The Brian Kendrick Gallagher shtick is kind of getting stale to me. What kind of redeemed it was, the Neville kind of getting that whole heat more so, especially with this kind of show this past week. The Drew Gulak promo and the niece, absolutely fucking hilarious. I loved it. And like you said, Cedric and Noam Dar put on a hell of a match.
It wasn't on the show, though. You can't let that swing your vote.
Well, wham. I'm putting it in anyways. Oh, that sounds horrible. But no, overall, I give it a B minus. I think what kind of redeemed it were those segments. The heel heat with Neville, the Drew Gulak and niece skit, and then, like I said, match of the night I gave to Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. Especially because Noam Dar finally got rid of Alicia Fox, because I can't stand that bitch. I'm sorry.
Very good. Logan, what do you rate 205 Live this week?
C minus.
Wow. Ooh. Go ahead.
I gotta give it a C minus. Right now, this week was back and forth, and it just
not a good one for you.
Nah.
I kind of agree. I'm going to give it a C, and I'll tell you why. For everything bad on the show, somehow, some way, there's, even in the bad segment with Brian Kendrick, the end of it was okay. So it seemed like every kind of shitty segment had a balance except for the Gulak. So it got a pass, and the main event totally saved the show. It was really good. So I'm going to give it just an average C. Nothing special, nothing fancy. I would say go out of your way to watch the main event, though. Anything. And anybody that stopped by in the chat tonight, thank you very much. Megan Starr, I haven't really manned the chat in a minute. I got to get better at that. But anyone else that stopped by, thank you so much. And guys, that's it. That's episode 9. It's in the books. Man, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Welcome to Cruise Control, by the way, Kristen. One more time, where can everyone check you out on Twitter, all that good stuff, before we get out of here this week?
Absolutely. So if you'd like to give me a follow on Twitter, I'm not an asshole who will just follow people and, oh, look, you followed me. Fuck that, I'm unfollowing you. Not how I am at all. You can follow me at MissMarch89. I also have Instagram is at MissMarch1989. Snapchat is lady with two Y's, left with two K's, 89. And eventually, hopefully, sometime soon, we'll have my own shows going on YouTube.
Very nice. The man of the hour, Mr. 205 Live Cruise Control himself, and the future of wrestling, Logan. Where can everyone check you and your new show with Maniac Matt 10 and L?
Beforehand, check out the. I'm going to actually have 2 polls up this week, and I'm going to tell you one of them, and I'm going to keep one of them secret. But the first one will be: would you like to see Rey Mysterio return and join 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division? Yes or no for the answer. You can check me out on Twitter at Logan Myers144. And please go to YouTube and search Future Wrestling Podcast and subscribe. Watch your very first episode from last week. We'll be recording here soon for episode 2 with me and Maniac Matt and Travis, the guy that runs the ship. That's almost like a AJ Styles, there for you. Where can wow, Twitter.
Who am I? Captain Lou Albano. You can check me out, as always, on Twitter at @TheBigTMD. Check out the Reset Button, myself and Dan, and Slam Pigs Podcast, Slam Pigs Cruise Control, and Slam Pigs Union Smack. Thank you guys so much for joining me live. Until next week, this is Slam Pigs Cruise Control. We'll see you then.
Shot like a rocket up into the sky. Nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave. Young knight, titanium, fight song, raise it up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me? 'Cause I'm. Who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible. Here we go again, I will not give in. I've got a reason to fight. Every day we choose, we might win or lose. This is the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, they say that I'm gone, they say that they've won. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, they're counting me out, but this is my round. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, young knight, titanium, fight song, raise it up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me? 'Cause I'm. Who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible.
I'm the greatest. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm the greatest. Don't fight anybody. 1,
fever, disco fever, yeah, 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 yeah. You wanna see him shake and shake his booty, get down tonight and boogie, oogie, oogie, all across the country. Disco sweeps the nation. He's the disco king. He gets a standing ovation. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever, yeah, 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 yeah. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever, yeah, 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 yeah. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever, yeah, 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 yeah. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever, yeah, 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 yeah. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever, yeah, 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 yeah. Disco fever, disco fever, disco fever, yeah.
Logan Myers, Logan Myers, yeah, 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 yeah.